Lots of people think it's just Chiapas, and it's not. It's not even all of Chiapas, the state of Chiapas, because we don't have Palenque, and that's like where all the massive temple ruins are. It's a part of a different mission. I think it's Villahermosa. But we get a part of Oaxaca, which is a different state, just a small little chunk. It's a zone of itself. And then we have pretty much the coast of Chiapas. And then we have Tuxtla Gutierrez and then the mountain district, I guess is what they call it. I don't know how those altos. And so there's lots of different climates. I thought it was going to be hot all the time. And when you're on the coast, it is hot generally. And I was there the majority of my mission. I probably served on the coast for over a year. And then I had just a handful of transfers I had 3 transfers in Tuxtla and 1 transfer in the Alto district. I don't know, the mountain district. And so I had to wear tights and scarves and sweaters during the winter because I was in Tuxtla and it's colder, and I had been in the south and on the coast, so it had been so hot, and then I came back and it was winter time there, and it was raining a little bit, but it was cold rain, and the wind would blow, and I got so cold, so I would wear my tights and I'd wear boots, and and it was really funny because I never thought that would happen, but you need rain boots. It's about a block away from the president's house in Tuxtla. It's a small temple. I'm from the Spokane area, so it's kind of the exact same one, and I felt really at home. But I got to serve in that area, actually. My apartment building was right behind the temple, and I got to sleep. My window pointed straight at Moroni. I got to fall asleep, say goodnight to Moroni. It's really cute. It's really beautiful. People sacrifice a lot to go to the temple, and they try to do it a lot. There's a lot of need for couples missionaries, actually, down there. So if anybody wants to go, they always need people down there. It's a beautiful temple. And my first mission president, let us go when any of our converts got endowed or sealed. But my second mission president, he let us go once a transfer if we worked a P day for it, so we could switch a 1 P day for a temple day each transfer, which was really special. I actually got to serve in every zone, just in one way or another. So there are 6 stakes. There's 3 stakes in Tuxtla and 2 stakes in Tapachula and 1 stake in San Cristobal, which is in the mountains. And then we have districts everywhere, which is branches. Like, they don't even have wards in districts. So, yeah, I think there are 4 districts. So there are a lot of branches. Lots of the branches have a lot of members, though. I served in Arriaga. It's a small town on the coast. And there are 2 branches in the town because it's a district, so they divide it into branches. But each ward had about, I think, 500 members listed, but only about 50 came to each branch each Sunday, just because it's really hard. Elder Oaks came to my mission, and he talked about how it's hard for people who have grown up generation after generation Catholic to understand the need to go to church every Sunday. And so we really focused on teaching about the sacrament so they'd know why. I wish I would have known that, so I would have had more spiritual experiences about the sacrament before my mission. And I already had, but about going every week, because then you can testify to them why it's important, and then they'll feel a desire to come, and it would make a big difference in their life, I think. One of my best friends that I made down there was this little old woman. I think she's in her late 90s, Angelita, and she was one of the first members in Tapachula. She's just a little, just a wrinkled woman, just beautiful, and her eyes shine, and she would still teach the gospel to anybody who would listen. She's an amazing missionary. She would accompany the sister missionaries into her 80s until she was bedridden, and it hasn't been very long. I think it's been 50 years the church has been there. So they're all very pioneers. Like, there are a few people whose grandparents are members, but they're very strong stake presidents. There's this one man who was 70 who lived down there. But it's hard. There's not so much cousins, aunts, and uncles support going on. So they are creating their church history right now, and they're really up to the challenge. They're amazing members. Yeah. It's harder in the big cities sometimes, and you'll hear that because they're so busy. In Tuxtla, it was hardest for me because I lived right in the thick of this big apartment complex. My area was really small, and there's two big apartment. They're like neighborhoods, but they're all made of the same building. There's just blocks and blocks of them, and then the very richest area in all of Chiapas, which is so hard because you can't knock doors. You're not allowed to knock doors, and everybody has their Mercedes or their BMW, and they just leave their garage, and so you can't really talk to them. And then the other people are either working or they're in school. It's a university sort of place where all the students live. So they're working and going to school and going out to pasear, to go on walks and stuff. So it's hard, and everybody's really fast paced. It's kind of more like the States, how everybody has things to do, and they're not they don't have time. But there's always a way to get to people's hearts. Heavenly Father will give you the love if you ask for it to get there. Tapachula was really slow paced, really hot. I think it has to do with the temperature, actually, because in Tapachula it was the hottest place I'd ever lived, and they were all really slow going in the afternoon because they all knew that there's no work that was going to be done in the heat of the afternoon. In Arriaga, it was so windy, I could try to fall and it was lifting me up, the wind was so intense, and but it was hot oftentimes too. But because it was so windy, lots of people would be in their houses. But if it was hot, so they're all slow attitude, and so they have time to talk to you. And Tuxtla, it's chillier, and so they're just all fast paced. They're all going and doing things because it's never too hot to do something. And then in Comitan, it's chilly, and in San Cristobal, it really is you need a sweater, and so everybody's going and doing things. But there's always a way to get to people. Referrals are the best because